Greetings, and welcome to my channel. I'm the Anunnaki Theorist. Today, I'm going to talk about a topic that spans two fields of study. The first, of course, is the Anunnaki theory. The second is just as large a field of study, and that is the Ascended Masters. Now, the Ascended Masters, the belief is called Theosophy, and this was started by an individual who is controversial in nature, and that is Blavatsky. And I'm not going to go too much into her. The information is out there. There are links here on this wiki that you can go and look more on Blavatsky. If you are into secret societies, shadow organizations, things like that, you get into the Black Sun Society, the Thule or Thule Society, and the Vril. Blavatsky is known to be in some of those. But she was the one that founded Theosophy, the idea that when certain people die, after clearing their karma, after eliminating their sin, and of course after so many lifetimes, that they can ascend. They transcend the physical. They no longer have to come back in the flesh. Now, this is not an idea that is, strictly in this field. The Eastern religions, especially Buddhism and Hinduism, they believe in nirvana. And nirvana is the breaking the cycle of death and rebirth, to no longer again have to take on the flesh, unless you want to. And the masters, the Ascended Masters, they want to, because they are teachers. They want to come back and teach mankind to ascend. Now, one thing that I have to point out, and it is one thing that I disagree with when it comes to Theosophy. They do say that, to be ascended is to completely and totally eliminate all malevolency, all evil. And I do not agree with that. To be ascended just means you no longer have to take on the flesh. Ascendancy does not equal benevolency. The masters, they are benevolent. They are out for helping mankind. Now, I'm going to come here to a page, and this link will be in the description. This is the main Ascended Masters list of the known masters. Okay, and one of the things that we see in this list, it's kind of one of the little disclaimers here. It says the asterisk in front of a name denotes those who are standing with humanity as their ascension teachers, as described in the article The Ascension Masters Teachers. Okay, so if we scroll down through here, we see several known Ascended Masters, and you see the ones with the little asterisks beside them, and these are the ones that are out to help mankind to ascend. The others, they are just ascended. Some of them are not good guys. And we can tell that really they're not good guys because they don't have that asterisk. They're not trying to help mankind. Now, one of the things that I have noticed in here is we do not have the first or the second ascended master. We have their incarnations, but we don't have their very first incarnation, when they first became ascended. The first ascended master is Enki. Now, prior to the Anunnaki coming and creating mankind, primitive hominids would not have had the wherewithal to be ascended. So the first ascended would have been the Anunnaki. And the very first one of the first was Enki. He was the one that knew the secrets of life and death. And I'll get into that here in just a little bit. Okay? So the second ascended master was Enki's second youngest son, Ningishita. Now, there are some individuals who say that Ningishita couldn't have been Enki's son because Ningishita, according to the text, was born of Ninazu. Ninazu was a Chthonian god, a lord of the underworld. Well, what was Enki? Those that know the saga, those that know, the full story, know that Enki was given control of the mines, the underworld. So Ninazu either was a name that he was given after his station was changed, because that's one of the things with the Anunnaki. Whenever their rank changes or their station changes, they receive a new name. Enki's name is Ea, E-A, Ea. His title is Enki. That means Lord of the Earth. And then when he was given control of the mines, he became a Chthonian, a lord of the underworld, Ninazu. So Ningishita being born of Ninazu was still Ningishita being born of Enki. So one of the things that we see, and this is the Sitchin variant, and I wish I could put this in a link in the description, but this is actually an ebook. This is the Lost Book of Enki. Okay, I need to point out, this is the only book of fiction that Zecharia Sitchin wrote. And it's only fiction because it is a possible retelling of the full saga by him taking all the various stories that were found and translated off the clay cuneiform tablets, and he put them together. And this is how they could have gone together. This is not the actual story. We don't actually have the full story in its entirety. We just have these various little histories, little stories, and Sitchin put them together. So the Lost Book of Enki is a work of fiction, but only because it is a possible telling of the saga. Okay, so here we got Ningishita along with Ninmah and Enki are creating mankind. And it says that Ningishita was given the secrets of life. Now, because he was given the secrets of life, we can also assume that he was given the secrets of death. Now, the thing is about the secrets of death, what's so secret about death? That is ascension. When you die and you have ascended, you no longer have to come back if you don't want to. Okay? Now, we do have another ascended, and he is not an ascended master in any way, shape, or form. He is just an ascended. And that is another one of Enki's sons. That is Marduk. Now, in this part of the Lost Book of Enki is when Enki took Marduk to the moon, to Luna, or Kingu. And they were basically exploring, trying to see if, it was suitable to mine. Of course, yes, there may have been resources there, but it would have been really difficult to get them out because there's no atmosphere, there's no water, it is completely inhospitable to life. But while they were there, Marduk expressed a concern. He didn't understand why it was his younger brother that was given the secrets of life and death. See, Enki gave Marduk all of his knowledge except the secrets of life and death. And of course, death being ascension. Now, the thing is, though, is Marduk did learn to ascend. He just didn't learn it from his father. Marduk has been exiled several times, and it was probably during one of these exiles he sought out a sage or someone who would have been versed, an actual human that would have been versed in ascension. So he did learn to ascend. And I'll get into that in just a moment, because I want to go back to Ningishita, aka Thoth. Now, when we get into Thoth, we get into the Emerald Tablets. And this link will be in the description. This is a beautiful read. If you've never read it, I encourage you to read it, because the Emerald Tablets of Thoth are beautiful, and he explains so much. Now, this is supposedly written by Thoth, but it was translated by Doriel. And Doriel was basically a priest of the White Brotherhood, who are ones that get into ascension. Whenever you want to find out information about ascension nowadays, you go through the White Brotherhood. And they idolize, Thoth is one of their main, for lack of a better term, deity. They don't really get into the deities because they follow more along the lines of the law of one. You are God. But anyway, we're going to go with Thoth, and we're going to go with the Emerald Tablets. And when we come here, he tells us that he has lived many lifetimes. He talks about incarnation. He talks about going to the underworld after he dies and speaks with the lords of life and death. So here he tells us that he is an ascended. And of course, as he comes back, he teaches. So he's not only an ascended, he is an ascended master. And again, this is one of the reasons why I am really perturbed with the Ascended Masters list and Thoth not being there. Because let's face it, Thoth and all his incarnations is the most important being to humanity. He wants to teach us. He loves us. One of his incarnations is Yeshua, aka Jesus Christ. And he is an ascended master. And how it talks about in the Christian Bible the groom and the bride being people. So Thoth loves us the way a groom loves his bride, minus the sexual aspect, maybe. But yes, he loves us. He loves us so much that he has tried in every one of his incarnations, in every one of his writings, to teach us to ascend. That's how much he loves us. We no longer need to have the flesh. We need to ascend. And Thoth tries to teach this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Marduk, because he is technically the second most important ascended to humans, and that's because he is Thoth's antagonist. Marduk is the Hasatan. He is Satan. And we kind of know that he's an ascended because of several stories that can be found. And one of the stories that can be found is that of Alexander the Great. And how Alexander was told, now this is the first and accepted based on historical accounts and everything like that. Alexander was told by an oracle that his father was Zeus. Okay? The thing that I have a problem with this is because if it was Zeus, then why did he go to Babylon looking to shake the hand of Marduk? Because you got this particular story, and I'll put the link in the description, and then you've got this story. Now, this is a book, The Secret of God, and it's talking about the Anunnaki. And we're talking about Alexander the Great here. And it was Marduk who he was actually looking for when he went to Babylon. Now, he was trying to find the texts, the information that would confirm what this oracle told him, that he was the son of Zeus or the son of Marduk, whichever story you go by. So in order to find this information, his idea was to go ahead and conquer the cultures that had it. It's kind of overkill, if you ask me. I don't know why he didn't just go to the places and say, hey, can I see this? And it's like, nope, I'm just going to go ahead and conquer them, and then I can have full access to all their libraries. But I will put this one in the description. This is just a little snippet of a book. But it does. It talks about, and then of course, the Son of God. And the thing is, Alexander is another ascended. His first incarnation was the son of Marduk, Nabu. So, not necessarily, because Alexander's father was Philip. And that could have been his earthly father. It could have been, between his mother and his father creating the body that his soul, his light body, would go into. Could also be talking about that his light body's father was Marduk. One way or another, it was showing that it was Marduk. So, I'm going to show you one more example, okay? One of the things that Alexander found out was that Marduk was dead. When he went to Babylon and he went into the Iker, Marduk's temple, he found him in a sarcophagus floating in funerary oils. And from the accounts, Marduk, before he died, he was a crotchety, cranky, old, drooling man. and then he died. But he's an ascended, so he's not dead, just his physical body. This individual that I'm going to talk about next, because this guy swears up and down that he met Marduk in this day and age. This man's name is Michael Lee Hill. And Michael Lee Hill is a ufologist. He's also a musician. But he has recorded various lights in the sky and things like that over Lake Erie, and turned them into various newscast stations and things. And this got the attention of some beings who supposedly came to him and wanted him to come and meet their leader. Now, I will put this in the description. But here it shows that he actually met Marduk. And one of the things that cracks me up when he met Marduk, well, a couple of things. The first one is he says that, Marduk has blue eyes. So, every time I hear that, it's like, I've heard about him, but I never dreamed he'd have blue eyes and blue jeans. Okay, I'm not a singer, but you get the point, all right? So that cracks me up. He has blue eyes. The devil has blue eyes. And then the other thing is, he had dinner with Marduk. I mean, it says he had lamb with okra and a curry sauce with Marduk. Okay, if this really was Marduk, I mean, I don't know. But in here, Marduk actually kind of sounds like a good guy to an extent. He says he's kind of changed his ways and he's not one to... But one of the things that we have to understand is, he is the Hasatan, and the Hasatan has always been the king of lies. The lord of deceit. So he's known for lying. He can say, hey, I've turned over a new leaf, I'm for the kingdom now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you still have your agenda. You still want to be king of heaven and king of earth. Now, when it comes to both Thoth and Marduk, I will get into them a lot more in later videos, because there's a lot of information. I mean, I'm going to go into a lot of Thoth's incarnations. In fact, I'll go through his full timeline from what I've found, because, like I said, he is the most important being to humanity. And then also with Marduk, I will go in to his timeline and all of his incarnations, and it'll just open your mind to another possibility, which is what I'm trying to do with this channel. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. If you are comfortable with your belief system, with your religion, that's great. But if you question, if you seek other things, that's what I'm trying to give here. Trying to show an alternate possibility and why it would be, an acceptable road to go down. Because there is things in here in the Anunnaki theory that answer some of life's biggest questions. Whereas mainstream religion and academia, there's too many holes. All the links are going to be in the description, except for the Lost Book of Enki. If you have not read it, I encourage you to find it. Either paperback, hardcover, ebook. There are a couple of places online to where you can get the Lost Book of Enki. It is a wonderful read. But all the other links that I've mentioned here, I will put in the description because I want you to read them yourself. I could be wrong. So by you looking, you can draw your own conclusions. I'm the Anunnaki Theorist. Enjoy.